Hey everyone, welcome back to the Archangel 15. This is going to be video 3 of 3 of my Maritime Admiralty Law Black Line video series. I wasn't originally going to do this video, but there's a few other things that I wanted to throw in and to kind of add my final spin to everything. This should be the final one. Please watch the other two in sequential order. They were inspired by the segment that Jordan Maxwell did on the Maritime Admiralty Law. Kind of started a spark, and like I took the knowledge that he gave me, added the whole black line concept, and took it 20 steps further. Per the topic of like, I went into all these things, like everything's like pretty much everything correlates to the black line or what have you. Like I said, discussed in the previous two videos. The one thing that I didn't mention in the past video, and it was kind of on purpose, was the black line or the BlackRock, the company BlackRock. A whole bunch of scumbags, just like the Olympic Vanguard Corporation. There's a reason that Vanguard Corporation has a ship in their logo, and it has to do with this maritime admiralty law. Like I said, they knew about this as well as other people. Company BlackRock, don't know what the origins of their company's name is. Maybe iron ore or something like that. It all starts with the steel. Know that like in this country, like anything you get like is like made of iron or steel is like basically supports the oil and gas industry. Like they need a kiln or a furnace or smelter to make it. And like years ago, they actually used to use wood fired forges. Someday I'm going to make one and like make stuff wood fired and like take it way back. But just look at the nature of the like, okay, 401k versus other options like pension. Immediately after I did the last presentation, I looked at my alchemy and it said perfect pension. I really believe that like in the broader gamut of time, a pension is a far superior concept than the 401k option. Years ago, unions and companies used to offer pensions, and it was really a decent deal. And then, like I said, then they slowly started phasing them out, and then they started making them to where it wasn't beneficial. And then every year, the markets are returning 18%, and of course, everybody is going to want to, given the rule of seven, you're going to want to have that option, as opposed to just some BS pension, in the name of greed. If you look at the nature of the world, and especially in America, like this is really what separates East versus West philosophy. Is the name of greed. Like I said, everything's about numbers. This year we have to sell more cars than the previous year. We have to build more houses. We have to build bigger houses, and it's like I said, and like every kid has to go to $60,000-$70,000 a year college, and everybody drives a brand new car every 3 to 5 years that they get. And it's really a failing philosophy, and it's like our beautiful precious planet is really at the demise of the hands of evil greedy people. And I mentioned in the first presentation of maritime admiralty law that like God created man subsequent to the earth. Like for us to ever think that we're above the planet, like I said, or like that it's our duty to engineer the planet, that's not the case. Even the animals and like the creatures of this earth are before us, and like we tend to forget that. And it's like I said, and anytime, like I said, this creates like a certain paradigm shift. And it's like I said, like if you look at anthropology, like basically the rise and fall of civilizations, there's certain common themes, like the reasons basically countries fall, and it's almost every time you see, like I said, that like all these places where you have these amazing megalith stone structures, Egypt, Rome, Greece, Incas, Aztecs, Mayans, Easter Island, all over the place. Why do you, like I said, like why do you see nobody there? And like I said, it's like a common theme. Like they start building these megaliths before like the fall of a civilization. Also, other things to do with like worshiping, like or like putting up young girls in the form of a pyramid, like they do with cheerleaders and other things as well. And it's really interesting when you study this. And like I said, people trying to act like they're God, like basically getting too big for their britches. Another reason as well. And overextending themselves, like basically taking an empire that they should have just stayed in a little small area and trying to expand it, and like wasting their resources is another thing. There's several reasons for it, but a big one is divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Like I said, their people like destroy themselves within, like bicameral systems versus unicameral systems is it's really a losing battle. But like I said, take the company BlackRock. Okay, like BlackRock, for instance, like I said, they have the Spider ETFs. So like one of the biggest companies, like a lot of people say that they control the world. Like them and Vanguard Corporation have trillions and trillions of dollars under their thumb. And like I said, take like a company like Apple that like, you could have purchased for a couple dollars a share in the 80s. Look at what it is now. Like I said, it's split several times, so factor that in as well. And they like the people that had bought in years ago have an exceedingly unfair advantage over the people that are like just coming out of school and buying in today. Who wants to buy these companies today? Even if there's a correction or so, it's bogus. These companies don't need or want your money for investment. I promise. Any of these companies, they can borrow money from the banks for next to nothing. Like I said, rather than give you a dividend and give you a return on your assets. And like it gets into another thing. Okay, so like I started this corollary. I mentioned that like the nature of the phonetics and phonics. Like basically that like essentially the English language is a dumbed down language that was designed to keep us in a box and make us slaves, and that like everything correlates back to a few things, like a huge matrix of sorts. And I predicted that as time goes on, the matrix will need to eventually expand beyond the English language, and once they realize that white people are evil, like nobody will even want to speak English anymore. And like you get into the study of like the Tower of Babel, like I said, people trying to act like they were God or wanted to be like God, and God knocked them down. And they wanted to, and that's how we got a lot of these various languages, supposedly. I believe in like the Tower of Babel. I don't think there was really a tower to heaven. I think it was a metaphoric hyperbole of human cloning, like people trying to clone the image of God or likeness of God or something like this, trying to be like him. And it just infuriates God. Like I said, there's certain themes, like I said, and there's been multiple floods in the past, other things. I'm going to cover this in my Secret Doctrine book review. But like I said, I really believe that moving forward, the pension idea is far superior than like I said, the 401k option. There's no really new room for improvement. So like I said, the pH, phonetics, Phoenicians is very, very special. You can take a tuner, download a tuner app on your phone and go A, B, C, and you'll see like like it moves, like a certain frequency for everything. This is how they invented microchips for humans. They put like EEG machines on your head, and then like basically they back engineered what area it lights up, and then they also did like something where they showed pictures of things that are familiar and unfamiliar, and like it makes a certain area of your brain light up. And they, like I said, it eventually can like implant frequencies and like almost like voices in people's heads and other things as well. Gets into a thing called Broadman's area. If you're interested in that, there's like various Broadman's areas, and like as much as that makes sense, like there's certain areas control. One thing controls sexual drive, one thing controls hunger, one thing controls motivational thought, one thing controls creative thought and function, and like breathing and this advice. Like, but then like there's like I said, like if you get into stuff I've talked about with consciousness independent of the brain. I have a presentation. What is consciousness? There's people that have like sustained massive brain trauma, or like myself, like and other things, and like they go like they like it's like there's an element of this that people like. There's thousands and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of peer-reviewed medical journal articles, and for everything they know, there's so much they don't know. It's like an amazing, interesting concept that kind of ties into this, and like basically wave theory, magnetism, other things. But like I said, you'll notice if you do the tuner thing that the pH is silent, and like I said, like the name, like Bill Gates, one of his daughters' name's Phoebe. Like it's not by chance he knew about this. Jerry Lee Lewis also has a daughter named Phoebe. I believe like almost like you look at some of these pictures like Jerry Lee Lewis. I believe that they're like connected to the Rothschilds. Like almost like the whole thing with the Rothschilds is really, really disturbing and scary. They've infiltrated everything, and like I talk about Hank Williams. I really don't think Hank Williams Jr. is Hank Williams Sr.'s son. Like they don't look alike. I think it was like I believe, like I said, anybody that was like a prophet or an angel or anything, they knew about this. Like probably one of the like they may have did this to Chester Bennington as well. But I talked about like the issues, like I said, with equities that were purchased like a long time ago and ones now. Like after this BS COVID happened and they started artificially propping up the markets, they started running into issues with float, like the float of a security, like the number of shares that are actively available to be traded. And like there's some that are like available for trade. There's some that are sold short. There's some that are already in various asset collections. If you take any equity and look at who owns the most, it's always Vanguard Corporation, almost always, like guaranteed. And like they started running into huge conspiracy. They started running into massive issues on the markets with floats. Like so everybody has all these shares in their 401k, and but everybody starts to go to sell them. It's like they're selling shares that didn't exist in the first place. And this is with big companies, probably like Lockheed Martin and others. And like I said, then there's like I said, on a small, like I've observed this for years and years over day trading. Like you can take like some eight company ABC dog shit biotech technology company, and like I said, like newsfeed comes out on it day one. Like more shares will trade than like the company even has in its since its inception. And like I said, how is this possible? And then, like I said, the next two subsequent days, there's a thing called day till pay, 3 days day till pay, where it takes 3 days for the shares to settle. And it's like they're trading hypothetical shares that don't exist. And like nobody talks about this, and it's been going on for years and years and years. And like I'm guessing that it's the Italians. Like I basically like the Jews and the Italians like must be the ones that like are able to benefit on this. Like they like when you open up a brokerage account, they see how much money you have or you're making, and then like if you're a Jew or an Italian, and if you're not, then like you're not allowed to day trade, basically. And like if your daddy wasn't in the military, it's another thing. Like this whole fallacy of the American dream. Like take anybody that like we like, oh, they're the American dream. They own a paving company. I was talking to my sister's boyfriend, and like he was telling me about, oh, these people do this and that, and I said I bet you any money his dad was either in the military or his mom's parents were in the military. He said, oh, I think you're right. And it's either that or the Freemasons. Like if your parents weren't in the military or the Freemasons, and mine were, and they still wouldn't let me do it. And like I said, if you have any Slavic origin, like as long as you do, like you go to your little bullshit job and you don't question the confines of the slave master, and you let the limp dick Freemasons and their kids act like they're God over you, and they did something right and you did something wrong, and that's why you work under them. And and that's why they get to go to like some superior granite tile marble shop, and we have to go to Home Depot, or we have to shop at Walmart, and we send our kids to state college, and like it's a fucking joke. And like I said, so like I said, float. Like I said, I'm guessing per my previous conversations, float and the of a boat. The draft of a boat, whatever you want to call it, and the underlying equities of shares. I know that there's a correlation there. Mast. Anything that begins with MA, like Maritime Admiralty, like Mao Zedong, I mentioned other things as well. Malcolm X, Plymouth Rock, BlackRock, ties together. Like all this ties together. I could go on and on and on about that, but that's not really cool anymore. Maritime Admiralty start. In my humble opinion, a boat, like the hull of a boat, should be designed around the mast. Like if you're going to design a sailing vessel, you should configure the mast, how many masts, and like how you want it to work. There's something called the axiom of causality. Like a plane, for instance, like you can design it to do one thing, and it's going to have you can for instance, let's keep it simple, like a kayak. Okay, so you have a 13, 14 foot kayak, and it's really fast, but in current, it's not maneuverable, or even in turbulent conditions. You have a shorter kayak, and you can maneuver it really easy, but it's not as fast. Like I said, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's like I said, the yin and the yang. It's like, just never forget that. But mast, Maritime Admiralty start, I'm guessing is what this stands for. And it all starts with the wind. My favorite tea that I drink is Mao Feng. Feng is the goddess of wind in China. And Mao, like I said, I honestly don't really know the whole origins of that, but I know Mao Zedong is on every single Chinese yuan note. I mentioned in the past about how the Chinese have their own currency named the renminbi, which the Bank of China posts the daily number, not the Zionist Jews. But yeah, the whole thing with float in the equities is a huge conspiracy. Okay. And assets and ass, like I said, is I don't think there's I don't think it's by chance there. The Martin Corporation, Lockheed Martin, I'm not going to go into it, but they probably thought that like I said, they were designed to fall, to engineer the world for the Chinese to take over, in my opinion. And the obvious one is Mary, like the Virgin Mary. I'm not going to get too deep into that. A lot of other, like I said, the Catholics are real big into it, but there's a bigger picture in the gamut of time when you talk about the seven archangels and so forth. And BlackRock, like I said, equals communism, and Walmart too. And to be really honest with you, in my opinion, Walmart single-handedly destroyed this country. And how did they do it? Okay, so Walmart got so big, let's understand it. They come after companies for much, much, much less for antitrust laws. Like I said, the Standard Oil they came after. They even came after Microsoft and Bill Gates years ago. Like, why the hell haven't? And like I said, I actually called the FTC about Amazon and about Walmart, and they said, you have to give us one thing that gives them an exceedingly unfair advantage over their competition. And I said, easy, their transportation system and their hubs. Like, they have like they don't have union transportation. Like, they have like their own like advert transportation hub system, and like basically other companies can't compete with this, especially companies that have to that use tend to follow union standards and other things, and like want to have a legitimate operation on the road. And essentially, to live and die with honor is everything. Maybe they saw all this coming, that eventually they were going to Holocaust a whole bunch of people. There's a standard classic example, the elastic pickle the case study with Walmart. So Walmart, they get so big. They're like every single town in the whole entire country. They literally shut down. Like they go into a town that was a completely fine town, like small little West Virginia, Kentucky, wherever, and shut down all the mom and pop stores and destroy it. Empty buildings. They don't care. They're just evil thugs. Okay, so then after they do that, and they're everywhere. The Elastic Pickle Company. Okay, so they go to Elastic Pickle and they say, you're going to give us a jar of pickles for this much money, or we're going to go to this person and we're not going to buy from you. And then like a company like them, okay, like to not have to be a big company and to not have the exposure and the shelf space, even be given shelf space and that broader thing, like that's like predatory dealings, predatory negotiations. And and then it wasn't like a nominal amount of money. Like if you saw what they were paying, it's absolutely absurdity. Some people say, well, that's capitalism. No, that's just being evil and like an unfair, like I said, system. It's communism. Let's just call it what it is. And like I said, like that's what Walmart does. And like as a subsequent result, a lot of this stuff that's made for Walmart is far, far inferior, particularly their tires. Like never ever get tires there. Like I've years ago did a couple times, and like every time they bubbled out on the side, they'll stand by them and this and that. And like Sam Walton, I believe, was a proficient figure. And like I think that I don't necessarily think he was a good Christian man from what I've gathered. And I think that where the company went is not the route or avenue that he wanted. I grew up with people very close to me that are Waltons. Like I said, they have their own separate. The Bushes and Waltons have their own bunkers that like don't connect to the other ones. And like when the Chinese come here, I hope we take them first. And like they've stolen genetics from me. They're like, I can't stand Walmart Corporation. Like it's like my opinion, like it's like some Duck Dynasty white trash shit. To be honest with you, we're happy just being a white trash truck driver and watching Duck Dynasty, and it's stuff like that destroyed this country. It's reasons like that when you go to like Washington D.C. and you go in our metro system that like I said, like you go there and then you go to other countries, even like Moscow or even like Tashkent, Uzbekistan. And like why we will never have anything nice. Like I said, it's like maybe they want to kill these people off, and for one company to have so much control over the food supply is not good. It's like really scary. So I'm gonna end here. I think I covered everything. Like I said, this should be the final one. Like I said, the stuff that I said with the phonetics is really important. Please, like I said, if you didn't watch the previous two, watch those. So I'm gonna end with a poem that I wrote. And like the whole thing, like I said, with Trump, like I said, he doesn't have one quote of substance whatsoever. And like I said, it's really sickening that people like I said, he started nuclear warfare. And he started wars that he couldn't finish. Him and a whole bunch of other scumbags are underground. We're still alive. One day above ground is like probably worth about 49 below ground. But I end with a poem. A manifestation of lies, evil, and greed create a paradox of people that are not qualified to lead. As the hands of time move right and the bipartisan pendulum swings both ways day and night, people wake up to the reality that they are slaves and already lost this fight. Time is a weapon that revolutionizes pain. Take it way back, and you don't need chips to play this game. Resistance makes chains break. Get rid of everything you have, and they have nothing to take. Gold and silver you can't eat. Divide and conquer, the oldest tricks used to defeat. As always, folks, thanks for watching the Archangel 15. I'm going to probably take a break from doing a lot of my other presentation stuff, and I'm going to do the Secret Doctrine, and we'll see where things go. Truly interesting times to be alive. Take care.